A huge new PlayStation Store sale just kicked off with the PlayStation Store's Big in Japan sale offering savings up to 60% on some of the biggest Japanese game releases. So many titles to go over, a lot of newer game releases, some new lows for a lot of marquee titles, and even though it's promoted as a Japanese sale, yes, all of these games are Japanese, but a lot of these games also cater towards Western audiences, which you're gonna see pretty quickly. You're going to use the entirety of this video to cover the sale, so stay tuned and be ready for some great deals. Probably the highlight of the sale has to be Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Not a significant discount on it, however, it has been holding up in price for quite a while, so to see it 25% off for $45, I would say that's a pretty good deal. And by the way, all of these games are seeing the same price for non-Plus subscribers as well, so that's always nice. Back to Sekiro, $45 for the game, I would say, is really good. Now, this is a game that is of immense quality. It's a FromSoftware title, so you know you're getting something really good. Given that it was published by Activision, I would more so put that being the reason why this game hasn't gone on sale all too much, although the FromSoftware games, generally speaking, do hold up in price for quite a while. You couple in that Activision games also hold up in price. I mean, you look at games like the Spiral Collection and the Crash Collection still going for really high price points. It makes sense that Sekiro is still very expensive, but it's a game and one of those titles that is absolutely worth the high asking price. You're talking about incredibly high quality action gameplay, a lot of replayability here, and yes, it is incredibly challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding in the same rate, and that's what FromSoftware really gets right. Yes, the games are challenging, but at the same time, when you do complete a section, when you do beat a boss, it's one of the most rewarding feelings you're gonna have in a video game. So that's always great, and if you've yet to check out the game, $45 for it is really good. Another very recent release is Devil May Cry 5, and that's seeing a significant discount. It is down to $36, which is a great buy for DMC5. Another one of those games that has been the highlight of 2019. I would rank it among the top 3 or 5 games of 2019. I don't think that's hyperbole at all because the game was really good. I was very surprised with how high quality of a DMC title Capcom put out. I was expecting something good. I was not expecting something this good. And DMC5 turned out to be absolutely great. If you want an action game that's high octane, has some awesome music, I mean, if you watch the trailer, you already know that there's some great music in the game. The story is, you know, a little bit nonsensical, but it's also charming at the same time, as it is a Devil May Cry game, and $36 for it is really good. Okay, how about another Capcom title? Resident Evil 2 is down to $36. That's a very good deal. We have seen it physically as low as like $30, but $36 for it is still really, really good. The deluxe edition is $42. Resident Evil 2, another one of those games that's been the highlight of 2019, and that should kind of go to show how well Capcom has been doing this year, and just over the last couple of years with games like Monster Hunter World and Mega Man 11 as well. But Resident Evil 2, a ground-up remake of the classic PlayStation 1 game, and it turned out really well. Visually, it is stunning, and if you're a fan of survival horror titles, it's a game that you should absolutely check out. It does have quite a bit of puzzles in there. Maybe that's a little bit off-putting to some of you guys, but $36 for it. If you want a quality survival horror title, it is very good. It's not all too lengthy, much like DMC5. It's a game that you can complete in, say, 15 hours, but it's a game filled with quality, and I think this is one where if you just wanted to add content for the sake of adding content, that would kind of dilute the game. And what is present in Resident Evil 2, again, made with immense quality, so for that reason, $36 I would say is worth a buy. By the way, all the other Resident Evil games are on sale as well. You've got Resident Evil, the PS4 HD Remaster, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 are $8 a pop, and the aforementioned titles are $8 a pop as well. I believe Revelations is on sale. Yup, that's $5. You've got the Revelations 1 and 2 bundle. You've got the triple pack, a lot of good stuff there, so if you want to get into Resident Evil, now would be a great time to do so on the PlayStation 4. Outside of that, Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, another game that was holding up in price for quite a while, is down to $30. I really enjoyed this game. Unfortunately, it had the untimely release being released right around the same time as Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2, and when you compete against those games, yes, Ace Combat has been around for quite a while, but Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts for a lot of people is just going to take priority. Now that a couple of months has passed, it's been like, what, 8 months since the release of AC7? Great time to go back and give this game a look, especially at this price. This is an awesome action flight game. Great music here, a pretty good story in here as well. That's a little bit wacky, but in terms of Ace Combat, you're not really going into the game for a high quality story. You're going in there for the gameplay, the action, the set pieces, the music, all that good stuff, and that's presented really well in Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. So $30 for that, I would say is a good buy. BlazBlue Central Fiction is down to 18 bucks. That's pretty good. I see Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood. That's down to $9.99. That is a really good deal. I would highly recommend that. Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood are two of the iconic Castlevania titles, so at that price point, definitely worth it. Buy. Castlevania Anniversary Collection is down to $9.99 as well. If you want some of the old school Castlevania titles, that's not a bad buy. So definitely give that a look. Dark Souls Remastered, I believe, is at a new low price. That is down to 20 bucks flat, so as you can see, the FromSoftware titles do tend to hold up in price. This is an older release and it's still going for $20. Yeah, that's a high price point, but if you want to revisit DS1, that's not a bad way to do so. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin is down to $9.99, while Dark Souls 3, the base game, is down to $14.99, and the deluxe edition is $21.24. If you want more Dark Souls, or if you want to get into Dark Souls at that price point, I would say it's pretty good. By the way, I mentioned DMC5 a little while ago. The other Devil May Cry titles are also on sale. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition is $7.49, and I do believe they have the HD collection on sale as well. Yup, that's $17.99, so a hefty price on that. You can get the HD collection and 4 Special Edition for $24.74. And then DMC Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry game by Ninja Theory, that is very good. Although completely separate from your mainline games, that's available for $14 flat. That's pretty good. Dragon Ball FighterZ is down to $15. That's really good. Definitely would recommend that. However, the game does have a couple of season passes, so you should be aware of that. The FighterZ Edition is $28.49, and then the Ultimate Edition is $33, so those aren't bad buys either. Another Dragon Ball game in Xenoverse 2 is down to $15. That's a pretty good deal. Xenoverse 2 is completely different than FighterZ. It's more of an arcadey fighting game experience, so depending on what kind of Dragon Ball title you want, you can pick between those two. Dragon Quest Builders is down to $30. That's kind of pricey, as I do believe that's the first game, which is a little bit of a bummer. Dragon Quest Builders 2, the Digital Deluxe Edition, is on sale for $64, and then yes, DQ Builders 2 is on sale for $48. If you want to get Dragon Quest Builders, I would just jump into Dragon Quest Builders 2. That is without a doubt the better game. Yes, not a significant discount, but that's a very recent release, and I would still give it a recommendation at that price point if you're interested. Final Fantasy VII is down to $11.19. Given that the remake is on the way, I wouldn't really get into Final Fantasy VII right now. I think the remake is just going to be outstanding, even though it's going to be segmented into multiple parts. But if you're one of those people that already played Final Fantasy VII, you want to play the original game, then you want to compare it to the remake, by all means, $11.19, not a bad buy. Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, is down to $30. I absolutely loved Final Fantasy XII. Maybe I'm on the minority in that. However, I thought from 2006, when I originally played Final Fantasy XII, I loved it back then. I love it just as much now. Maybe people back then were a little bit off-put with the battle style because it was so different than the other Final Fantasy games, having a turn-based battle style. 12 has a battle system that's more so comparable to an MMO. That type of battle system is a lot more accepted in 2019, so I think this game is a lot more accessible now than it was back then. I will say that the story isn't top tier, and really that comes down to the main character and Vaughn being a pretty generic character and not a character with a ton of layers. However, that doesn't go for the entire Final Fantasy XII cast. You have compelling characters in there like Ash, Botch, and Balthier. Those are very compelling characters. It's just that Vaughn is kind of a run-of-the-mill standard main character in a JRPG, and that was a little bit unfortunate given that Final Fantasy, traditionally speaking, as much as you want to crap on some of the games, usually have good main characters. You look at main characters like Cloud, even Titus. Hell, Lightning was a relatively compelling main character. In the case of Vaughn, he's just not all too great, and that's kind of an imperative notion that goes along when talking about Final Fantasy XII, but everything surrounding Vaughn, the story itself, the other characters, that is all pretty decent. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster is down to $15. This includes Final Fantasy X and X-2. Final Fantasy X-2 is actually not a bad game. Maybe people just didn't like it that Titus wasn't in the base game, and he's not really a main character in that title, but the game itself is pretty good, and Final Fantasy X is one of the more iconic titles in the Final Fantasy franchise. If you're going into FF10, just know that its aging really shows. That was an early PlayStation 2 game. I believe the first game in the Final Fantasy franchise to utilize voice acting, some awful lip syncing, some very stiff animation, and the voice acting itself isn't the best. However, the entirety of the game I would say is rather good, and $15 for all of that is quite good. Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition is $25. That's pretty good. Fire Pro Wrestling World is $25. That game is actually awesome if you want a different kind of wrestling game. God Eater 3 is down to $30. That's pretty good given that it's a relatively recent release. Jump Force is down to $30. I know the game's not the best, but if you're a fan of all of the IPs presented, that's not a bad pickup either. Judgment is down to $39. You guys know how I feel about all of the games from the Yakuza studio. They are great, and Judgment falls in line in being a really terrific game, so I would highly recommend recommend that. Just Cause 4 Standard Edition is down to $19.79. Gold Edition is $29.69. I personally would recommend you to wait a little bit longer for Just Cause 4 to get a little bit cheaper. At some point, it is going to be south of $10. It's a formality. It's more of a question of if rather than when, and that would really be the best time to pick up Just Cause 4, as the game did have some fundamental flaws, but it has gone better through some updates and whatever the case may be on that. All the Kingdom Hearts titles are on sale. I would recommend you to pick up the Kingdom Hearts all-in-one package for $50. That includes Kingdom Hearts 3 HD 2.8 as well as 1.5 and 2.5. That's if you're looking to get into the franchise. All of the other games are relatively expensive. Standalone 1.5 and 2.5 is $25, 2.8 is $30, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is $30. If you need the entire experience anyway, get the all-in-one package. $50 for all of that content is pretty insane when you actually assess it from a value standpoint. Mega Man titles are on sale as well. Legacy Collection 1 is down to $5.99. Legacy Collection 2 is $9.99. Legacy Collection 1 and 2 is $14.99. And then the X Legacy Collections are on sale as well. X Legacy Collection 1 is $11.99, 2 is $11.99, and then you can get both for $23.99, which is actually a penny more expensive than buying them separately. Make of that what you will. Mega Man 11 is down to $20.09, kind of expensive for that. MGS5 is on sale. The Definitive Experience, which includes Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain, and a ton of DLC, is $9.99. That is absurd. You can get the Phantom Pain alone for $4.99 or Ground Zeroes for $3.99. I would get the Definitive Experience. So much DLC, all the content, that is good stuff right there. Monster Hunter World content is on sale. I would just recommend you to wait until the Iceborne collection is on sale, but there you have it, that is on sale. My Hero 1's Justice is down to $23.99. I love My Hero Academia, and for me, the game was a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the IP, you're gonna enjoy the game. Just don't expect anything as robust as the Naruto Storm titles. Hopefully, we can work our way up there, as this was the first major My Hero game, and the anime still got a lot of life into it, so hopefully we can see the video games develop as well. Speaking of Naruto Storm, all of those games are on sale as well. The older titles in Storm 2, Storm 3 Full Burst are down to $9.99. Storm 4 Road to Boruto is down to $14.99. That's really good, and that's what I would recommend. You can get the Storm Legacy Collection for $21, which includes everything. That includes the original 3 games, Storm 4, and the Road to Boruto DLC, so that is a great buy. I would really recommend you to go that route. Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker is also on sale. That's $14.99. Not a great game. I would stick to Storm, but it is a little bit different than the Storm titles, so you can check that out as well. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Deluxe Edition is down to $27. The base game is down to $20.39. Really good JRPG. I'd recommend it. We do have the release of the remaster coming up, so now wouldn't be a bad time to check out Ni no Kuni 2. Odin Sphere Left Tracer is down to $24. That might be one of the standouts of this sale. Would highly recommend that. Odin Sphere is a great game, and the remaster, it doesn't really change it all too much, but hey, a great game remaining a great game with better visuals, that's something I can get all over. One Piece World Seeker down to $30, one of the better One Piece games, although that doesn't really say much given that the One Piece games are usually not very good. That one is okay though. Shadow of the Tomb Raider down to $19.79. That's pretty good. I thought Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a good game, not quite as good as Rise of the Tomb Raider, but a good game nonetheless. Shenmue 1 and 2 Collection, $17.99 ahead of the release of Shenmue 3. Wouldn't be a bad idea to check that. Star Ocean The Last Hope 4K and Full HD Remastered is down to $10.49. That is really good. Star Ocean 4 has some of the most comically bad voice acting that you're ever gonna see in a game, and sometimes that becomes a little bit off-putting considering some of the cutscenes are really, really long. I believe that this version also has Japanese voiceovers, but honestly, just play with the English voiceovers because it's low-key hilarious. But it is a good game. The battle system is awesome, the environments still look really great, and I would recommend it at $10.49. They do have Star Ocean 5 on sale, Integrity and Faithlessness, which I think is one of the worst titles for a JRPG ever. Game isn't very good either. I was so disappointed by Star Ocean 5. There's a reason why not too many JRPG lovers even talk about the game. Just not a very good game. Don't get that. Do get Star Ocean 4, however. And Star Ocean Till the End of Time is on sale as well for $10.49. That's a really good game. Really lengthy. If you want to beat that game, you have to invest quite a bit of time, so just be mindful of that. Soul Calibur 6 down to $20.39, one of the best fighting games of this generation. You can't go wrong with that. Steins Gate Elite is down to $24. It's Steins Gate, but the visual novel, it's awesome. I would give that a recommendation. All of the Sword Art Online titles are on sale. Tales of Berseria is down to $15. Tremendous JRPG. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is $25. Tremendous JRPG. Vesperia is honestly one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, and whenever I talk about the game, I gush quite a bit about it. The characters, the gameplay is the traditional Tales of stuff, but it works well, and again, it is set apart by the characters and the story. The story isn't anything mind-blowing, however, it's a fundamental JRPG story that works rather well. The characters, however, are so engaging. One of the best main characters in a JRPG ever, honestly in any game ever in my opinion. It's not that typical zero to hero story that you see in so many other JRPGs, and that kind of story works for a lot of JRPGs. It's just nice that Vesperia was able to offer something different and offer such an engaging main character. So that is great as well. Tekken 7, all that stuff is on sale. Tokyo Zandu EX Plus is down to $11.99. Have always described that as a lesser Persona 5. And yeah, that's what it is. For $12, it's pretty good. Valkyria Chronicles for $21. Awesome JRPG with a strategy flair to it. Great storytelling through the use of a storybook. Very similar to the original Valkyria Chronicles. A little bit better with this one. Adds a little bit more options to the gameplay. And it does have an easy mode if you want a smoother gameplay experience, as Valkyria Chronicles 1 was relatively challenging. In easy mode with VC4, the gameplay is still rather good. However, if you want a more focus on the story, and the story is really good, that is really how you want to play that one. Yakuza 6 The Song of Life, $20. Yakuza Kiwami, $9.99. Kiwami 2, $24.99. We have Zonky Zero Last Beginning, $29.99. Zero Escape titles are on sale as well. Those are really good. The Nonary games are $14.99. Zero Time Dilemma is $11.99. And lastly, Zone of the Enders, the second runner Mars, is $11.99. So we went kind of long covering everything in this sale, but I wanted to give everything a look. Honestly, I probably missed a couple of deals here and there. I might do another video taking a look at some of the best deals. There's a lot on sale, and if you're a fan of Japanese games, a lot of good stuff to check out at great prices. And traditionally speaking, Japanese games do hold up in price more so than Western games, but now would be the time to pick up some great games at great prices. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.